Good afternoon and welcome to Mike and the Hoss on Wolfeboro Community Television. I'm Mike today.
And I'm Charlie Hossack.
On our agenda today, we're going to have some Kingswood sports, some Patriots Super Bowl recap, some Celtics and some Bruins, and maybe a little Red Sox. Ready to get started, Charlie?
I'm ready, Mike.
All right. Let's start with some Kingswood hockey.
Okay.
They've had some weather-related events that have, reduced their schedule a little bit. So they only had one game since we last talked.
Right.
They played Summers with Cole Brown, and it was a big win for the boys. They won 5-1. Good solid game. Sam Dene, 2 goals, 2 assists. Oleg Sheehan, great game in nets. Overall, pretty solid finish for the boys.
I agree. I was able to watch that game on Saturday night, and they looked like things are coming together. Notice one thing, that Coach Potenza has put that starting line back together. They did. Yeah.
At the beginning of the year, Coach was saying that line was probably going to be one of the best lines in the state, and he's right. He's weighing the defense versus the offense, and when that line's on the ice, they can score against anybody.
Absolutely.
So they're at a point now where they're really positioning themselves for playoffs. They have 6 games left, I believe. 4 to 5 more wins would really put them in a good position. I know one of the goals is to host a playoff game.
That'd be awesome.
So they're on track. They got some tough ones ahead of them. They play Sunday against Timberlane, which should be a win. It should be, but you can't.
We're traveling down there.
We're traveling down there, but that's why they play the game, because they're going to have to bring some game with them.
Absolutely.
And then after that, who knows?
Yeah. This is exciting. I mean, this is the best time of the year. Hopefully, we maybe can get Coach Potenza in before the playoff push.
We did talk. So I think it's just a matter of setting up our schedules and figuring things out. But we got a few more weeks before the playoffs. So we'll keep working on it.
Yeah, we'll get Coach in here. That'd be great.
All right.
Girls had the opportunity to watch the girls play. They played Keene. Another tough game. The girls were very optimistic going into this. Keene has been struggling this season, but Keene definitely came in with something to prove. And they ended up beating us 12-1. Overall, Abby Kelly scored. Excuse me, Abby Kelly did not score. Abby Kelly got an assist. Jill Luby scored the goal.
For Jill.
Yeah, so it was a nice goal. Girls, once again, I mean, as we've talked before, they are kind of building this program. The program's definitely going in the right direction. Coach Landry is doing a phenomenal job. The girls are excited. The girls are looking forward to the remainder of the games this season, and also those that are not seniors looking forward to the future.
What do you see as 12-1 is a tough score.
Sure.
What do you see as the biggest difference? Is it a matter of 3 or 4 skaters, or is it a matter of more like 8 or 9 skaters difference when we see these games?
I mean, right now we're looking at 8 or 9 skaters. You're looking at, well, maybe not 8 or 9, maybe 5 or 6. You're looking at some kids that are playing hockey for the very first time.
Yeah.
So they're not only learning the game, and some of them,
like your daughter.
Like my kiddo is learning the game for the first time. Plus, some of them are also, I wouldn't say learning to skate, but definitely have not been skating in quite some time. So there's definitely an advantage to other teams with not only their hockey IQ, but their skating ability. But I kind of look at it, obviously as a dad and as a fan, I look at it as to where they were 2 months ago as to where they are now, and it's exciting. And there's been definite improvement, and the morale of the girls is high, which is so important.
I was just going to ask you about that. Are the girls excited to play hockey?
Absolutely.
Do they like going to practice?
They do.
Then right now that's a successful season for them. And,
I agree.
If you're building a program, keep the girls happy or keep the team happy, not getting frustrated, not getting down on themselves where they want to go try something else.
Sure.
Be excited about hockey and just enjoy the game of hockey.
Right. But speaking of hockey with us, so right now they're on their way. Actually, they're on the ice right now. They're down at UNH. So
they're playing at the Wit?
They're playing at the Wit. So these girls are playing on an Olympic-sized rink, all this huge rink. So they were super excited to be able to do that. Nice. So they have Oyster River today, and then we have a home game tomorrow. Berlin's coming down to the Pop. So it'll be exciting. So we've got a couple games on tap. But Mike, the next big game is Tuesday. We're traveling to Manchester Central. The girls beat Manchester Central in their first game. Was 10-1, so they're looking to get their second win of the season. So
2 wins, 2 wins is something to build off of, and it's certainly not all about winning, but winning makes that bus ride home feel a lot better.
Absolutely.
So good luck to the girls.
Yeah.
We don't have a lot of information on the basketball teams. We do know that the boys had a big win this week against Kennett.
It's always nice to beat Kennett.
Well, and that's a rivalry game, and that was their second win of the year for the boys.
Sure.
didn't get a chance to get to Coach Place, and I didn't get a chance to get to the game, but I know they got to be feeling pretty good about that,
Sure.
you know, because they've been playing well, but they've had a tough time putting wins up. They have a tough time finishing some of these games. So it sounds like, you know, if you can beat your rivalry, then you know, the Carroll County rivalry, then that's a good thing. The girls only had one game. They lost to Kennett. Amanda Lepar was the top scorer. She had 13 points, I believe. We talked about Amanda's leadership, and same thing. You know, we're talking about with the girls hockey team. You know, they're not putting up wins,
Right.
but the girls seem to be happy playing basketball right now. And you know, obviously, it's nice to win.
Sure.
But it's sometimes just nice to play.
Absolutely.
And if
they're
they're
happy
happy
playing and practice it, and you know, there's going to be good things for the girls in the future with basketball.
We wanted to spend a little bit of time talking about indoor track. The state meet was this past weekend, which happened to be at the same time as the Super Bowl, which I couldn't figure that out. So we have some results. We're going to read through some of the, you know, call out some of the kids, and then we got a special one at the end. The boys, Devin Wade was in the 55-meter dash, and he finished 14th in the state, which is
great.
Yeah, that's certainly a good
Absolutely.
number. Brent Coop did the 600-meter run, finished 7th.
Wow.
That's a good turnout for Brent.
That's fantastic.
Then the Kingswood, make sure I got this right, the 4x200. The Kingswood team of Drew Reuter, Brent Coop, Ben Goslin, and Devin Wade finished 9th in the state.
That's excellent.
So that's a good job for them. Boys high jump, Jack Dales participated. Boys long jump, Devin Wade finished 8th. And we have, I believe this is the shot put, Ryan Russo. Who's also, Ryan's I get this jiu-jitsu.
Okay.
I believe he's...
It's martial arts.
Yes, I want to say Ryan's nationally ranked, too. I'll get some more details on that.
Okay.
But Ryan shot put was 11th in the state. The girls, Caitlin Carpenter, 14th in the 55-meter dash. Sarah Huckman, 600-meter run, finished 10th, which is a nice job for Sarah.
Good job, Sarah.
But the big one was...
Hold on. I'm going to give you a drum roll.
All right, very good.
This is exciting. Yes.
The girls 4x200 team consisting of Elizabeth Morrison, Eliza Tibbetts, Amelia Gallimberti, and Caitlin Carpenter set the school record.
That is awesome.
Yep, in the 4x200 with a time of 1 minute 56 seconds and 97 hundredths.
Yeah, and we're going to see more of these girls because they're not graduating.
They're not graduating. That's a young
team.
The state meets, the indoor track it kind of goes under the radar a little bit, but it's a great jump start for the regular track season, and you know, they're competing against, you know, other schools. They're getting in the habit of doing that.
Right.
Outside the athletic director, they have a board. You've seen the board about the school record, so the girls are going to get themselves on that board. So
That's
they
awesome.
should feel pretty good about that. So congratulations to the girls.
Definitely. Swimming, Mike. We got some swimming. So we don't have a lot of information, but the information we do have is that the swimming state meet is this Saturday at UNH. And I did reach out to their head coach, Al Rossi, and he is going to get us all sorts of information for next week's show. So that'll be exciting to celebrate our swimmers. And as I said before, they have to travel over to Guilford a couple times a week to swim because we don't have a pool here. So they've been, you know, they do a lot of traveling, and of course now they're going to go down to UNH, and this is exciting because this program, not only is it a school program, during the summer all of these kids also swim competitively down, and they swim, and this is crazy, they actually swim in the lake.
I know.
So, you know,
Mike has did it.
Yeah, most of the kids that are swimming in pools. So now you got to go out there and you're swimming in a lake, and you got wakes from boats and all sorts of crazy things.
Coach Rossi, two out of my three did swim with Coach Rossi in the summer. Good guy, very positive.
Yeah.
But swimming's a commitment. You know, swimming is a commitment, especially at the school level where they're traveling to Guilford.
Yes.
And you know, we know some of the kids that are doing some swimming. That's a lifelong activity too.
It is.
You know, so it's nice to see the kids having some success in the swimming program.
Definitely. Looking forward to talking about that next week.
All right.
Talk a little bit about football, Kingswood football.
Yep.
All right, just a couple things about Kingswood football. I know, Mike, that it's the winter, but you know, I do love football. So I just wanted to bring to everyone's attention on June 22nd, the Kingswood football program is having a golf outing. Hoping you're going to be there because I'm going to be there.
Well, I'm hoping we're out of school by June 22nd. Was that a Saturday?
It's Saturday.
Okay.
Yeah, so you won't be in school that day.
Clear.
So we're playing at Indian Mount out in Ossipee. So we're looking for players, obviously. It's going to be a 5-person team. We're also looking for sponsors, if anybody wants to sponsor a hole. If anybody's interested, you can contact Mary DeMacy or you can reach out to me. Charlie Hossack, and we'd love to see you come support Kingswood football and have some fun playing golf.
Sounds great.
Yeah. The other exciting thing is on August 31st, we are having the first annual Tom Lovett Football Jamboree. You know who Tom Lovett is.
I do know who Tom Lovett, yep.
So Coach Lovett, Tom Lovett, is a longtime Kingswood football coach and educator. And Coach Lovett, it's pretty awesome. Still lives in Wolfeboro, so the coaching staff of the football team still meets with him. He's definitely like our mentor.
Yeah.
And we were able to name the Jamboree after Coach Lovett. And if you go to Alumni Stadium, there's actual seat that's painted that is Coach Lovett's seat that he sits at for every football game.
And there's a mural in the hallway in the school.
Absolutely, and there's a mural, and I think Mallory McCullough was the one that painted that mural.
Oh, is it? I didn't know that.
So the Coach Lovett Jamboree is going to happen at the end of August.
Now, the football team has always traveled to another Jamboree, right? Is this the first time
we've hosted what was called the Granite State Jamboree.
Okay.
This one's a little different because in the past it's just been 8 teams. We already have 16 teams committed.
Wow.
So this is going to be is a big deal. It's going to be obviously a fundraiser for our program, but more importantly, it's going to give the kids experience against other divisions. We're going to have Division 1 through 4 there as well.
Quick preview of football team for next year?
Yeah, excited. I'm very excited for what's coming back. You mentioned, Devin Wade, so we have a lot of speed.
Yep.
We have Jackson McCullough, probably is going to, I don't want to say this, but looks like he's probably going to be the quarterback. You're going to see Matt Drew, who's returning his senior year, probably going to be in the backfield, also playing some linebacker.
Yep.
Yeah, loves to hit people. So extremely optimistic right now. I know it's early in the season. Here's an interesting thing, Mike. 20 to 25 kids, 3 to 4 days a week, lifting weights.
I was just going to mention that, at the middle school, we're seeing a lot of kids come over from the middle school, more than I ever have before, getting into the gym. Mm-hmm. And we've said for years, as long as I can remember, that one of the biggest differences that in our program compared to these other programs that we compete against is that the kids aren't in the gym.
Right.
And we've had this gym now for 8 years, and it's nice to see them starting to get in there because you got to get in there early.
Yes.
You got to get in there early. Football's something that you do year round. You got to get stronger. You got to be able to build that muscle mass so that you can handle the hits and you can handle the season.
It's a long season. It's a grind.
And that's a great sign that they're in there.
So looking forward.
We'll do a lot more football talk.
Absolutely, and we'll get Coach Landry. He's the new head football coach. We'll get him in here as well.
That's exciting.
All right.
So we're going to spend some time on the Super Bowl.
Okay.
I'm not sure how many of you guys watched the Super Bowl preview
Super Bowl, yes.
But we were right and wrong on a lot of things.
Yes, yeah. So, I'm mostly wrong.
Well, you had.
Although I had we'll talk about the MVP. Right.
There's a lot of buzz about the game being boring. I didn't think it was boring, and maybe that's because we're Pats fans.
Yeah. Even if I wasn't a Pats fan, I'm a football fan, and I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the game.
Yep.
I like defensive struggles.
I did too. I liked it because every play mattered, and especially down that stretch in the second half when things were tight. On the sideline, if you get a chance to watch Mic'd Up, from the NFL Network, they were saying this is going to be a 10-3 game. The next touchdown is going to win this game, and they were right.
Yep.
And so you like those games when just one mistake is going to cost a team a game.
Yeah.
Because you want to be on the edge, and I was on the edge of the seat.
Absolutely.
Unlike the AFC Championship game, I felt much more confident in this game, especially as we're going, because the defense was phenomenal.
Yeah, unbelievable. They were unbelievable.
Some of the best defensive games that we've seen ever in a Super Bowl. To hold that team to 3 points, and to make them look as inept as they did. It was fun to watch as a Patriots fan, and obviously we're biased.
I mean, total yards for LA was 260 total yards.
Yep.
LA coming in, they were the second-ranked offense as far as scoring points.
Yep.
Coming in.
And 60 of those were in that last drive when the Pats were more in a prevent.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean that was amazing. LA ended up with 14 first downs, and they were only 3 for 13 on third down conversions.
It was crazy. We had a feeling that Belichick was putting something together special. He had hinted about it, that he was able to give this defense that he had more than he has in other defenses in a long time.
Right.
And they were so much more exotic, and LA didn't know what to do. I thought came out, Belichick looked phenomenal in this game. He just command of everything.
Yep.
Just absolute command of everything, stayed cool, whereas the young coach, McVay, looked a little bit out of his element.
Yeah, and I know you mentioned the mic'd up, so obviously we both watched that.
Yeah.
And it was interesting to see the pregame when, Coach Belichick and Coach McVay had a conversation. I mean, even seeing that, Sean McVay was definitely in awe and who wouldn't be? I mean, especially as a coach.
Yeah, but in a game, though, I mean, you're going against this guy.
I know.
Do you want to be kissing his rings like that, as Rex Ryan would say?
And that's what he did. He did kiss his rings, absolutely.
And Belichick couldn't get out of there fast enough.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of things in there. I mean, we could spend a lot of time talking about that.
Definitely. And the other thing, I do want to mention one thing. It was interesting because Coach Belichick always wants to be able to see, and you saw this in Mic'd Up, he wants to be able to see the opposing coach because he wants to be able to read him. And that goes back to the Seattle game, right? Right before the Butler pick.
I got this.
Yeah. So he wants to be focused and see what's going on, and he's a genius.
There was a lot of inside stuff that you didn't even know, and the fact that he was looking for McVay at the beginning of the game. Where's McVay? Where's McVay?
Yeah.
I got him marked.
Yeah.
Because he's going to be reading keys off of the other coach.
Yes.
Incredible, and he really is on a different level, and we're so blessed.
We are,
as Patriots fans, just even as Boston fans.
Yeah.
It was, that's the sixth Super Bowl title for the Patriots in 17 years. Well, we didn't even talk about the Red Sox have won 4 titles in that time span.
Right.
So that's 10 just between those two teams.
And the Celtics had one in there.
I'm figuring that somebody in Boston has the full-time job of just organizing parades.
Yeah.
It's
Cue
really
the duck
kind of
boats
cool
again, right?
I know there was a few kids that made it down there, and I think they skipped school, but we won't talk about that. But you called Edelman as the MVP?
I did, and I just I felt like he's obviously a fantastic player, and he had a great game. But it was interesting. Even at the end of the game, you saw kind of the debate. People said, "Well, should it have been Gilmore? Should it have been Brady?" And obviously, I decided Edelman, and I was confident with my decision just based on what he did. Yeah, I mean, he didn't put any points up, but it's okay. What he did?
First downs?
Yeah, exactly.
What caught me by surprise, going back to that mic'd up, what a leader he is on the field.
Oh yeah.
Every single play in the huddle. Let's go, guys. Let's go, guys. I mean, just everything on the sidelines. And so didn't fall on all of Brady's shoulders.
Right.
It was Edelman that was kind of the voice of the offense.
How about right before the Gronk pass? Gronk, we need you, is what Edelman said.
Yep.
And then he catches the ball down at the 1.
That's just an awesome combination.
Yeah.
Legacy, I mean, there's really not much else to say. You could have said before this game they were the best dynasty ever.
Sure.
After the game, it was really enjoyable seeing all the haters all week long just kind of eat crow on this. It's a great time. I can't say it enough. It's a great time to be a Pats fan.
It is.
I think I tweeted it, too, at some point. It says, just thankful to be a Pats fan because to be celebrating like that as often as we have, and there's a euphoric feeling when your team wins. Yeah. And I know we're not on the team or anything, but we root for them.
But we're fans.
But there's that euphoric feeling when that team wins, and you sleep pretty well at night compared to when they lose.
Right.
When they lose, you're like, oh, darn it.
Yeah, I know.
So, repeat? Are they going to repeat?
Yeah, I mean, this is, I don't know. I mean, they were in the Super Bowl 2 years in a row. Why not 3? It's not, I mean, we had said before, okay, Gronk's probably going to retire. I still feel like that's the case.
Probably.
Yeah. Edelman isn't going anywhere, and he's healthy. Brady's coming back. Coach Bill Belichick's coming back, right? I mean, it looks like they have all.
Isn't that all that matters?
Yeah, just Brady and Bill, and now Julian.
Yeah.
Isn't
that all that matters?
They have, they have all the weapons, and you go back a few weeks, and everybody's complaining. Well, he's got no deep threats. He has no receivers. The defense is like Swiss cheese. You know what? They're Super Bowl champs.
If we would have been doing this show in September or October or even November, we would have been dumping on them.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's over, blah, 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 blah.
This is it. Brady fell off a cliff.
Probably a good thing. Couple Ty Law was voted the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Any other Pats you see getting in?
I don't know. I mean, I was thinking, what do you think about Teddy Bruschi? Because I know he's definitely more of an emotional leader, great player. Does he have the numbers, though, do you think, to go to the Hall of Fame?
No.
Yeah.
I don't, and I think that this is where Brady and Belichick, I think, it actually hurts some of these other guys.
Yeah.
Because they get so much credit for their teams being successful.
Right.
That the side pieces, which you need these guys, just aren't going to be there. Edelman, there was all kinds of talk about, is Edelman a Hall of Fame player? To see what he's done in the playoffs, second in catches, second in receiving yards, career, behind Jerry Rice. And I mean, Jerry Rice has been in the Hall of Fame. With half his numbers, he'd be in the Hall of Fame.
Sure.
I think that they get too much credit, and they end up hurting somebody. Rodney Harrison, as a name to go back to, Richard Seymour.
Right.
These are all-time great Patriots, but because I think they've been in the Belichick-Brady era, they might get overlooked. But Ty Law might break the ice.
Yeah.
That might be one that breaks the ice.
Because what about Devin McCourty when it's, I know he's still playing. But, you know, you look at Devin McCourty. You know,
five Super Bowl appearances.
Yeah, you know, even Patrick Chung. Like, what are we going to, you know.
Five Super Bowl appearances.
Yeah.
Bruschi was 4 Super Bowl appearances. Nope, sorry, Bruschi was 5 because he was there in '96 when they went that time. So, I mean, how do you leave a guy out that's been to the Super Bowl 5 times and won 3 of them?
Right.
It's hard to imagine.
Yeah.
But, you know, the key pieces are coming back. And I think that they have a chance. I mean, they're going to be in the mix.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's going to be fun to see how they reload.
Well, we know they're going to win the FC East.
Yes,
so,
we do. We do.
Guaranteed a playoff team. So.
All right, want to move on to
Celtics?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. So the Celtics are 35-20 overall. They're 4th in the Eastern Conference. We had talked prior to the show. It would have been a little more exciting today to talk about their win last night against L.A.
That's a bad loss.
Holy cow.
That's a bad loss.
Yeah, it was a really tough loss. And, what are your... Is the Kyrie drama, is that over? You know, now we have Anthony Davis in the mix. What are your thoughts about where we're going?
I think there's too much drama on this team.
Yeah.
Kyrie is one of my favorite players to watch, but there just seems to be so much baggage that's coming around with him right now. Am I staying? Am I going? Very LeBron-esque.
Right.
You know, and I think that
he reached out to LeBron.
Yep.
LeBron picked him number 2 on his All-Star team.
Yep. There's a lot, and picked Anthony Davis number 3.
Yep, he sure did.
So I think one of the problems with the NBA is that the players seem to have too much control in making their own team.
Sure.
And it looks like LeBron's trying to make something that'll compete with Golden State or compete with Houston.
Right.
Because I don't think he's got the group right now. It surprised me how well they played last night, because at the trade deadline he was basically saying that he wanted to trade every single guy on that team.
Right.
It was a bad loss last night, though.
It was.
You know, there's really no way to say it.
The Celtics went into halftime with a 9-point lead. You know, LeBron had a good 5 minutes, and that was it. And everyone else, I mean, I don't know if you watched the halftime show, but it was like the Celtics pretty much had every shot they took was uncontested.
Yeah.
You know, and they just
defensively, they just completely broke down. I mean, they were shooting over 50% in the first half.
Yeah.
But to give up 70 points in the second half, whatever the number was, that's a bad loss, and I think that's going to stick with them. You can't win a championship if you're going to lose like that. But then again, we were saying similar stuff about the Patriots most of the fall, and they were able to pull it together at the end. Right. So I guess it comes down to how you're playing at the end.
And we saw how well the Celtics played last week against Golden State.
Yeah. And not just Golden State, but Toronto. They beat Toronto.
They beat the Thunder. Yep.
Right. So when they want to turn it on, I think they get some issues. The Anthony Davis trade, he wasn't traded at the trade deadline, and so now the talk is that the Celtics already have him locked up because they're going to send Tatum towards the Pelicans at the end of the year. And now what's that going to do to the locker room of the Celtics?
Right.
And then Anthony Davis has clearly said he is not re-signing with the Celtics.
Yep.
Don't trade for me. I'm not re-signing with you guys. So do we give up Jason Tatum with a guy that's going to be a rental player?
Yeah, no, you can't do that.
And
the Pelicans are going to let Davis play the rest of the season, so he's going to be playing. And I don't know. I mean, do you think Danny Ainge, he's one of the best in the game? I mean, do you really think he even made an offer for Anthony Davis? And why would you, if you were New Orleans, why would you accept just a verbal, hey, this is what we're going to do at the end of the season?
Well, I think they said if you wait till the end of the year, we'll talk about Jason Tatum.
Yeah.
And I think he's a franchise player. It looks like he is. He's only 20 years old. He was a number 3 pick in the draft. He was the best player that came out of that draft. So maybe that does interest the Pelicans in waiting for that. Because even though Anthony Davis might not re-sign with the Celtics, Jason Tatum's got 4 more years.
Yeah.
It's a great deal for the Pelicans.
I mean, I feel at this point with the Celtics, I would say stay status quo, because I think they can win. I think they can win with this team.
I think if they get rid of the drama that's surrounding them. Gordon Hayward has to play better, though. He's the He's the 6th highest paid player in the league.
Sure.
He is not playing like the 6th. He's playing like
he plays like the 8th guy, 7th, 8th guy on the bench.
On the bench.
Right.
Obviously it was a gruesome injury last year, and I don't wish that on anybody.
Right.
But for a guy that's making $31 million, I think his number is, you expect him to be, putting up 25 and 10 anyway.
Right.
And he's not giving him that, and that's a big hole. And they're still putting him in that lineup to try to let him work through it. But now you start wondering, okay, if he can come back,
right?
To where he was before, and that's tough. One we're running. We got about 4 minutes left. I want to jump to the Red Sox.
Yeah, Red Sox. So,
pitchers and catchers.
Yep.
On Tuesday.
Next Tuesday, right? Yeah, Tuesday the 12th. The equipment truck's on its way, which is very exciting. We had talked a little bit before about the Sox, and they've got a great lineup. What are your thoughts about? Just once again, what are your thoughts about the bullpen?
I think the bullpen is good enough to get through the year. They demonstrated last year that they have to be good enough to get through the year. And then if they're going to carry 6 or 7 starters, then they can put starters 5 through 7 in the bullpen to anchor that for the playoffs, which is what they did last year.
Yep.
And it's a formula that seems to work.
Sure.
And I think that that's going to be the ticket throughout the year, that you use all 14 of the pitchers that you have on your staff. And you get through the year. Then you plug in guys at the end of the year into the bullpen in your 7th and 8th inning. And it seems to be, we had mentioned a couple weeks ago, they seem to be built for the regular season, but also built for the postseason.
Yeah.
And when your number 4 or 5 starter in Evaldi can throw the ball 102 miles an hour, and he can work out of the bullpen or work in your starting rotation, it gives you a lot of flexibility.
It does.
You got a knuckleballer that's going to, Stephen Wright, they re-signed. When he's healthy, he's dominant. That guy, he's one of the better pitchers.
Tim Wakefield-esque, right? Yeah.
And he can give you a lot of innings as long as he's not on the bases, trying to steal bases. And that's what he got hurt when he hurt his shoulder a few years ago. They seem to be built. They got Mookie Betts. Coming back. They have. Wow.
Look at JBJ.
JBJ, thank you.
You got Benintendi.
all these guys are coming back.
And Petey's coming back. We had talked about that.
That's right. So there isn't any reason why they're not going to at least be in the mix. I mean, there's some big free agents out there. None of them are going to the Red Sox.
No.
But Bryce Harper, he shaved his beard today.
He did?
Yep. So you know what that usually means, right?
He's going to the Yankees.
He's going to the Yankees. Good job. Yep, no facial hair for the Yankees, so I'm out.
Me too.
So he's probably going to land with New York, and that's a pretty incredible outfield that they're going to have.
Yeah.
But there's going to be a lot of home runs coming out of New York, but a lot of strikeouts. And I don't know if that's a winning combination right now. No. So
what do you think about Manny Machado?
I'm guessing Philadelphia.
Yeah.
That's just,
which is disappointing for me personally as a baseball fan, because I don't think Manny Machado is necessarily a great person. He's kind of considered a dirty player. I shouldn't say he's not a great person, but he's a dirty player on the field. So he had dinner with the Yankees brass, with Brian Cashman and Aaron Boone and Carlos Beltran was there, who also kind of fits into the category of a Manny Machado type player. So I was like, this would be a perfect fit for him to go to the the evil empire, because I'm a huge Bryce Harper fan, so that's going to hurt if he ends up with the Yankees. Where Machado, maybe it'll be the Phillies.
If Machado goes to the Yankees, I think it's great for the Red Sox.
Yeah.
Because if they get that many head cases on, it's going to implode.
Yep.
It's going to have to implode, and it'll be better for the Red Sox. Sometimes having too many stars, too many Type A guys, it ends up hurting.
Well, we were talking about that with the Celtics. We got a lot of stars on the Celtics, so see what's going to happen.
You need to have role players. You got to have role players. You got to have people that sit at the end of the locker room, and if you have too many guys that want the number 1 spot in the locker room, it doesn't work out. And we keep going back to the Patriots, but one of the reasons why the Patriots are successful is because they're full of role players.
Yes, they are.
Everybody's an equal in that locker room, and Aaron Judge, Bryce Harper, Manny Machado, Gregorius. I mean, the line goes on down and on and on. So that would be pretty tough. I guess we're going to have to do the Bruins next week.
Okay,
Bruins are playing okay.
Yeah, they're doing all right. They're 4th in the Eastern Conference, 29-17. So they're kind of fighting it out with Montreal and Toronto.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that's our time. You got anything else, Charlie?
Nothing, Mike. You got anything else?
I got nothing else.
All right.
Hey, that's Mike in the Hoss on Wolfeboro Community Television. You can follow us at Mike in the Hoss and tweet us any questions or topics you want us to talk about. Have a good night.
Go Knights.
Go Knights.